What's going on, guys? Well, it's finally time to do a review on this Atactical A1 flashlight. You guys probably saw me do the abuse testing. So first, let's take a look at the damage. The anodization on this definitely took a beating. You can see some scrapes all throughout the entire light. All right, well, the bezel here. If you haven't seen those videos, this was dropped multiple times, you know, from waist high on concrete, thrown down the street, kicked down the street, stepped on, left in water, left in ice, you know, for a couple hours, you know, dug in the snow, and still works fine. One big issue that I had was the battery, okay? So this is the original battery. First of all, this is what comes with it. You can see the box, packaging, just cardboard box. You do get a charging cable. You get, of course, your paperwork, which is going to give you all your specs and stuff. All right, you get some spare O-rings here as well. And this is what made this light kind of unique and different. Was this is the original battery to this light. Okay, so you see it's a Atactical branded USB rechargeable 18650. This one is 2600 milliamp hour. And again, what was unique is that you have a USB plug that went to, I guess, a micro USB, right? Yeah, micro USB, and it plugged directly into a port on the battery itself. I thought this was cool, different, unique, you know. And after I did my testing, or in the middle of my testing, I had a problem with the light staying on and the battery itself. So I went to charge it, and I had a lot of different issues with this battery charging. It took forever to charge. It didn't fully charge up at all. I had like no runtime on. I mean, I left this thing overnight for about at least 24 hours, probably more like 30 hours charging. I had an issue where the red and green light kept coming on, and then, you know, just the green light went off, so I thought it was still charging. I didn't know what was going on. And then when I actually used the light, I figured, or the battery, I figured, you know, after 30 hours plus of charging, it's got to be fully charged, right? And I had about a 10-minute runtime. Okay, so I didn't know what was going on here. So I contacted the company, and they sent me out a new battery. So it's literally the same battery. Let me pop this open and show you. All right, same exact setup, same thing. All right, 2600 milliamp hour, same little charging port, whatever. And this one works totally fine. Thinking about it, because I was wondering if it was this new design with the charging port, maybe these batteries are weaker. It dawned on me that I did do an abuse test with the original battery and the light. I literally got the light brand new, used it for about an hour, playing around with it, checking out the different modes, and then I went outside and I beat the crap out of it. So I have to assume that it was the testing that, you know, made the battery inoperable. But at the same time, it's noteworthy that this is the first battery that I ever really had an issue after abuse testing. I've done this with multiple flashlights, multiple brands, never had an 18650 fail on me in such a way. So maybe the battery itself could be a little bit more delicate. 99.9% of you out there will never have this problem, because you're not going to purposely throw your flashlight down the street. You're not going to kick it. You're not going to keep dropping it over and over again. But hey, it's worth noting, if for some reason you do those things to your flashlights, you might want to use a different battery than the stock rechargeable one that comes with the light. But yeah, I mean, there's absolutely no problem with this light or the battery itself. After getting the replacement, I did use it and drain it fully before I went and recharged it again. Totally fine. All right, so no issue there. So first off, very standard setup here. Glass lens, we have, you know, anodized aluminum for our body. Pretty straightforward. Most tactical flashlights these days, they're all basically the same thing. The only thing that's different, obviously, is the modes, the output, the specifications, you know, battery source, things like that. All right, so let's go over the different modes here. Well, again, all you have to do is click this side button once it's on. Okay, so the back is a dedicated on-off, and this is your mode changing button. All right, starts off in low, which is 10 lumens, then medium, 63, high is 200, and then turbo is 550. Okay, they claim 3 hours runtime on this. Most time companies are a little bit off. It just depends on certain conditions, the actual battery cell, how used it is, could be all the way down to the temperature in the room. But I did test this twice, and both times it was just under 3 hours. I think the first time was like 2 hours, 40 minutes or something. The next time I think it was a little bit less, but it's in the ballpark, it's around there. Now what's interesting is that there is a strobe mode and an SOS mode. The SOS mode actually comes right after the turbo, but not if you go through the mode slowly. So as you see, I stayed on turbo, and when I click it again, it goes back to the beginning at low. So low, medium, high, turbo. But if you hesitate, it'll go back to low. So basically you have to go kind of quickly. So low, medium, high, turbo, click it again, and there is your SOS. Okay, now SOS is not something I personally use. The only practical situation I guess I can see SOS having an advantage of is if you break down somewhere in your vehicle and you're kind of in a, I don't know, in an area that doesn't get a lot of traffic or something, or, you know, if you get a flat tire, that's one thing. It's not a big emergency, but if you really have a true emergency, you could put your flashlight in SOS mode, leave it on the trunk facing traffic. I would get way off the road in case someone gets blinded by it and, you know, clips your car or something. But that'll obviously get people's attention. And at some point, someone will call the police if the police themselves don't drive by and see you. And hopefully they'll understand what that means, and you know you need some attention. So that's the practical usage, in my opinion, for an SOS mode. But anyway, in any mode at all, you hold your mode button down, and that'll go right into the strobe mode. Okay, and of course it'll stay there until you click it again. Now the one thing to note about strobe is that there is mode memory. So right now we're in our turbo mode. If I turn it off, turn it back on, it will remember that mode. To show you that, let's switch over to the low mode, right? Turn it off, turn it back on, it'll stay in low. Every mode has mode memory except for the strobe. Okay, if you put it onto strobe and turn it off, when you turn it back on, it will not be strobe. It'll just automatically default back to the highest output, which is our turbo. So that pretty much covers, I mean, all the features and stuff. It's just like any old tactical flashlight. Again, you go by price and the highest output. As far as the different modes, it's cool. I do like different mode options. The low is very important. Medium, high, they really never get used, at least for me, for my uses. Either I want low light, which in this case would be the 10 lumens, and you get a lot more runtime on that, or I just want as bright as it possibly gets, right? 550 lumens in this case. So what you're getting is 550 lumens for 20 bucks. You are getting strobe, which is a nice feature for a lot of people. I think strobe mode is really underestimated. You can use that in defensive situations, so it's a non-lethal defense option, obviously at night or in dimly lit areas. It can distract some kind of an attacker, whether it be a person or an animal. A lot of people don't think about that. You could be walking your dog at night and, you know, a wild animal jumps out, or who knows, maybe someone else walking their dog, and their dog is very aggressive and, you know, goes to attack you. You can hit it with strobe, and that can really, you know, save you in a really risky situation. So I do like strobe mode, and it's kind of a must for flashlights I actually carry on my person. The SOS, kind of take it or leave it, doesn't really matter to me. But yeah, I mean, that's what this light is offering. There's a lot of lights out there. They're 20 bucks. That's what this one offers. So if that seems appealing to you, this is something to consider. Big pro to me, obviously, is going to be the customer service. The fact that I had an issue and they took care of it free of charge. That's a huge thumbs up to me. The negative is with all the different testing on all the different flashlights I've had over the many years, I never had a battery fail when I did an abuse test. And you would think, you know, obviously throwing a light around, a lot of the lithium batteries would have issues, but honestly, none that I can recall. So the battery itself, maybe not as strong as some other designs because it does have the charging port in there. I don't really know, but honestly, it wasn't that big of an issue. If you're not purposely trying to break your flashlight, you'll never have that problem. I can almost guarantee it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's the Atactical A1. Again, they have a new model already. It's the A1S, so we'll take a look at that in the future, I'm sure. It's another 10 bucks. And it's putting out a lot more light. So if you're interested in that, let me know down in the comments, and we'll talk about that one in the future if I get one. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have an awesome day, and I will see you soon. Take care.